Podcasts are hot right now. How do I know? Well, you're listening to one right now, aren't you? But you might be wondering, how on earth do I get my voice out there and start my own podcast? It all seems so intimidating. Between hosting and platforms and monetization, it can get real complicated real quick. Well, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We started this podcast over 2 years ago, not knowing clue one on how to do it. So how do we do it? We did it with Anchor. Anchor is the free podcast app with creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on all the platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. And everybody likes money, right? Well, you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So go right now, download the free Anchor app, or go to Anchor FM to get started.
It's the e-commerce minute, your daily dose of e-commerce, tech, and retail news with your hosts, Bart, Mroz, and John Suder. The e-commerce minute is a production of SUMO Heavy, a digital commerce consulting firm in Brooklyn, New York, and Philadelphia. Find us on the web at sumoheavy.com. It's e-commerce minute episode 644.
In today's episode, we have some very, very sad news. Brandless Halts operations.
The writing was on the wall. SoftBank-backed Brandless has been plagued with missteps from the very beginning in 2017. Soon after launch, many publications noted that the company had a serious retention problem, and the issues continued from there. So this latest breaking news shouldn't come as much of a shock. Direct-to-consumer retailer Brandless has become the first SoftBank Vision Fund-backed startup to close down as it stops taking orders and halts all business operations. For those who don't know, Brandless is a San Francisco-based e-commerce company that made and sold an assortment of cruelty-free products in beauty and personal care, household, baby, and pet categories. The company began out of the gate with a brand strategy selling all products for $3 each. Their other point of difference was that all products were unbranded, meaning they all had the same generic label. No fancy CPG brands here, hence the name Brandless. But unfortunately, the $3 price point didn't last, and the company began selling items at $6 and $9, while expanding their offering to pet and baby products and eventually settling into the health and wellness genre, including a wide variety of CBD products. The company will be laying off 70 people, or 90% of its staff, according to a company spokesperson. The last 10 employees will stay to finish the remaining customer orders and evaluate any acquisition offers. Brandless's closure marks the end of a turbulent short run, beset with a challenging business model from the start. In a statement, the company blamed a fiercely competitive retail market that was unsustainable for its business. The company's short run won't come as a complete surprise to industry watchers. In July of 2018, Brandless announced that SoftBank's $100 billion Vision Fund had invested $240 million in the company in a deal that valued Brandless at a little over $500 million. It was a surprising development given the company's relative fresh entrance into the business. In March of last year, CEO Tina Sharkey, who co-founded the company with Ido Leffler, resigned from her position, saying she was moving on to a more focused role as the brand's co-chair. John Rittenhouse, the former CEO of Walmart.com, took the job a few months later in May 2019. His plan was to pivot Brandless's business into more high-ticket items like CBD oil and use his background to get Brandless's products into stores. He said at the time that he would get Brandless profitable by 2021 and that it would be a billion-dollar business by 2023. Fast forward to December 2019, Rittenhouse stepped down as CEO and left the company. Sharkey, who had remained on the board, quietly left in the fall. After a month of meetings in the wake of Rittenhouse's departure, the Brandless board decided it was better to shutter the company's business operations while it still had time to give employees severance packages. It was only a matter of time until this happened, but this one's going to leave a mark. Who isn't a sucker for good branding, or a lack thereof? I'm pouring out a big 40 for Brandless. Long-time listeners to this podcast knew that I was a fanboy.
I'm a big fan too. You order a lot more than I did, but I definitely love some of the products. Like I bought a whole bunch of like travel things, meaning like, shampoos and things like that. Coffees, which were my favorite. Like there's tons of little tiny things I love.
Yeah, that's what it was. And right out of the gate, we both liked Brandless. And also our observation was, and you and I both said this, like, how long can they do this?
Right.
Right. And then they went to $6 and $9, fine with that. And I was like, you know what? Introduce more products. You're going to get bigger average order value out of that. And you'll be able to still rock the $3 price point. Well, that apparently didn't last very long. I didn't know about this Rittenhouse thing. Go ahead.
I think, as much as it was brandless, right, it still had a brand. And I think they didn't push. I think they're so fully focused on being brandless
that they didn't realize that they were becoming a brand in itself.
Well, I don't think but they didn't push that hard. And I think that's part of that, right? I mean, as much as people want to say brands that counts for everything.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. It's still like, even if you think about, say, ShopRite's or Giant's brand, right? In the store, people still know it as a brand.
Yeah. It used to be just called generic brand, but now it's evolved into something else. Whereas, and I think as consumers, we're very aware of what generic brands used to stand for and what they stand for now. And a smart shopper will go into a supermarket and know that certain supermarket brands are the exact same freaking thing as what the CPG, big label, big marketing dollar brand is.
Right. I think, so let's take Target, is taking all their weird brands and putting them under one now. Whole Foods has 365 brand. You go to Costco, and Costco has the Kirkland brand, right?
Right.
And Kirkland is crazy. Like,
Kirkland's actually like a more popular
brand than anything else, but it's the same. Right. They just take it from the same suppliers and make them cheaper. Right. Like, it's funny how the non-branded branded stuff all of a sudden is a thing.
Yeah. And the thing about Brandless was, and again, their whole marketing, so to speak, was based on price, but the quality of the goods was actually really good. And listen, this is a fanboy speaking, so you take it for what it's worth. I never had anything bad from there. Now, given that you try to price things at $3 a piece, you think, wow, I'm going to get this thing for $3, and it might be a little smaller than you expected, but
it usually was.
But they had all their sauces and stuff. That was all full-size stuff. That was all $3 each. And when they raised some of the prices, I didn't balk at it because I wanted to see the company survive, because all their stuff was organic. It was all cruelty-free. If you made a certain purchase, I forget what it is now that their site is down, I can't look it up, but they would make a purchase to Feeding America, I think it was called, or something like that. They would make a donation towards feeding people, which I thought was very altruistic. And I just liked the company as a whole. Like I said, their products were great. I knew that they were pivoting, and I knew every time I went on the site, I'm like, okay, now they're selling $70 CBD oil. You got to do what you got to do. I was actually going to buy some from there just to see what the quality was like. I didn't realize all this stuff with John Rittenhouse. He was going to really try to turn the company around. It doesn't really say in the article here why he gave up. Like what?
I don't know. I mean, obviously you have to watch the internals, and I think they had way too much money, and we can get back to the point of the vision fund and stuff like that. But like, if they really, really push towards that and really branded Brandless, like, I think they would succeed. And I think maybe because they got off course a year ago or so.
Yeah, maybe. They are correct in that they're in a fiercely competitive business. Read between the lines, Whole Foods, Walmart, anybody trying to do any type of grocery or food product now is going to get crushed. And especially at those price points. But seeing what their eventual plans were, I would have loved to see it play out. And it's a shame that it didn't happen.
Yeah. Let's have a moment for let's talk about Vision Fund. It's like, what do you to say, right? Like, the turbulent times of Vision Fund for the past 2 years has been definitely interesting.
Yeah, Oyo Hotels was firing thousands of staff across China and India. Now, Oyo Hotels is the bargain hotel. If you listen to the Pivot podcast, Scott Galloway has some very specific thoughts about the hotels. The pizza-making robot Zoom, which we had always planned to do a story about, never got around to, and thank God they laid off 53% of their employees. I don't know what's going on over there. Did WAG go out of business? Or is WAG?
WAG is under trouble too.
WAG is in trouble. The car leaser fair,
obviously the biggie, right? WeWork.
And the biggie WeWork, which when they do the movie, I would hope that Adam Driver would star as Adam. I watched Marriage Story over the weekend, and I'm like, that's Adam Newman.
I think Andrew Garfield.
Andrew Garfield.
For Adam Newman.
Here's the boomer Googling Andrew Garfield.
The boomer is actually live Googling.
Live Googling. I'm not actually a boomer, but close enough for you people. Theater of the mind. Who is Andrew? Who is this guy?
Spider-Man.
Oh, Spiderman. Okay, cool.
So yeah, it feels like, so half of it is, our DTC companies in trouble. Look at Away, look at some other things that are going on.
The Casper IPO, Away. I mean, there's tons of those, right? I think, Harry was having a little bit of trouble because FCC did not want They nixed it, and the company walked away. They just walked away. I'm sure Harry's got a breakup fee or something like that. But
right, so the winner really is Dollar Shave Club because they
right.
At the right time.
Boy, that guy, he got out at the right time, man.
Yeah. So there's a whole bunch of them. And I think that's it. Weirdly enough, I think it's an overcrowded market with a lot of them, right? I mean, Bonobos is one of those too. they got bought up, which is great. But also like overcrowded market, too many people jumping into it, getting oversaturated. And then you have all the CPGs and places like Target and Walmart going, no. Good job for leading the causes and doing research for us. Now we're going to do it on our own.
Yeah. Not only are they doing it themselves, but also, what do you see in the aisles now? You see Harry's, you see Casper, you see the DTC shit like for sale in the aisles. So
I just walked in on the Harry's all over Target right now, but Target goes, okay, next to Harry's, I'm going to put my own stuff and at $1 less or whatever th're doing, and it's the thing, right?
Yeah, so, Goodfellas is their new brand,
right? So you see, I mean, all of it. I mean, and then Amazon jumps in the fray too. So you're competing. You need a lot of money and a lot of marketing. And, you look at Instagram right now. I don't know about you, Brittany, but you probably get ads like crazy about stuff.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And usually they're the same thing over and over and over.
And over and over.
Yeah.
So
usually a fast motion video of someone demonstrating either a piece of camera equipment or some iPhone holder. I don't know about you guys. It's always those fast time-lapse videos of someone.
No, I get different ones. But because we're in this industry, like we look at a lot of different things, so we definitely get a lot of ads for different things.
Very true.
Especially when you're in office with a bunch of people, and then you're like, "Why am I getting makeup things? I don't understand." I know I have like my wife doesn't really like. No, I was like, "Oh, I know why."
The cursed IP address. All right, we really don't have any stats for this one, so we're gonna wrap this one up. You guys got anything else? Any closing thoughts? Poor 40 for Brandless. Any last thoughts?
Nope.
And we'll miss Brandless. And if you're interested, in our show notes, we have links to all of our previous episodes on Brandless. It's been quite a journey. Sorry to see them go. Maybe someone else can pick up the mantle. That's your e-commerce minute for today. We'll see you on the internet tomorrow. That's it for today's show. If you like the show, do us a favor and subscribe or leave us a review on iTunes. And don't forget, you can now listen to the e-commerce minute on your Amazon device. Just add e-commerce minute to your flash briefing. And finally, if you have a comment or suggestion or just want to say hi, find us on social media at SUMO Heavy.